emanating from deep under the earth, spreading across the globe at the speed of thought, changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order Report from Green Brain Comics. Welcome, Brainiacs. I am Dan Merritt, the Chief Purchasing Officer at Green Brain Comics. Each week we bring you the Final Order Report, showcasing a hand-picked selection of comics and graphic novels that are about to go to print. These titles will be hitting our shelves in as soon as 4 weeks. We're here to give you the inside scoop and one last opportunity to subscribe or special order before the final order cutoff at Sunday, June 16th at 5 p.m. Green Brain Comics and the Final Order Report are proudly powered by Comichub. Check out Comichub online at comichub.com or download the mobile app for Android and iPhone. Create an account online or sync up to your existing account and pay securely, ensuring you never miss an issue. Today I'll be using Comichub to showcase items from this week's Last Call for Confirmed Orders Carousel. First off, let's sign in here. Once you get signed in, you'll see the following options: aside items. That's everything that's come in for you and is currently aside waiting for you to pay for and pick up. Behind the green banner is the shop coming soon. That's everything that we will be looking at today. All the carousels included here. Once you get in there, you'll see the top carousel. That is current search. Anything that you search for in that top field will come up in that carousel. These carousels turn right to left, right and left. We have preview pages, PDF previews of some of the comics that we will be looking at today and future releases. Below that is the Last Call for Final Order Cut-Off Carousel. That's the one we'll be looking at today. Below that is next Wednesday's items. That's everything that's scheduled to hit the shelves this Wednesday coming up, the 16th. And then we got the event carousels below that. We got one for Absolute Power, House of Brainiac, Infinity Watch, Blood Hunt, Deadpool, Wolverine, Weapon Extraction. There's lots of stuff to look at and get to today, so let's just jump right in. Once we move into the Last Call for Confirmed Orders Carousel, we see we have more filters, and we also scroll top to bottom. We've got alphanumeric on the red buttons and drop-down filters for publisher, category, brand, genre, etc., helping you get exactly and directly to where you want to go. Okay, the first thing that we will be looking at today is a Final Order Report on younger reader comics and graphic novels. First thing today is, let's get there. It's Jackson Wilder's Adventures. This is volume 1, entitled Habits and Habitats, from cartoonist Sarah Davidson and Paper Cuts. This is 88 pages for $7.99 and will be available on the shelves on July 17th. That will also be available in a hardcover for $12.99. Also from Paper Cuts, we have the newest volume of the Loud House Spooky Special. This is from the Loud House creative team. Also available in softcover and hardcover. Then from Random House, we have Real Pigeons, Volume 5, called Peck Punches. This creative team, Andrew McDonald and Ben Wood, have a new graphic novel series coming out later this year that I was just brought to my attention. Looks real cool. I like the cartooning on Real Pigeons, Peck Punches. And to close out our focus on younger readers' books, this is Tig and Lily, called Up Late, Volume 3, from Random House and Dan Thompson. And next up we have, I don't think we have any manga this week, so we're going to move right over to final order report for original graphic novels. And that. In this particular case, we have a art book. This is called Frank Frazetta, an artist tribute hardcover. This is 248 pages from 3D Total Publishing. And let's see, it features a selection of incredible artists that pay tribute to Frank Frazetta by creating new art inspired by his work, accompanied by an in-depth interview with members of the Frazetta family. Frank Frazetta is often referred to as the godfather of fantasy art. There it is, folks. Frank Frazetta, an artist tribute, 248 pages for $38. And from Dark Horse Comics, we get this Cthulhu Cat graphic novel. Cthulhu Cat is created by Pandania, is 136 pages for $14.99. This is a one-shot, full-color gag manga collection that is a charming tribute both to Lovecraftian stories and Lovecraft the Cat Lover. And then we get a new collection of cartoons from Mark Bell. Raw Sewage. Mark Bell returns with another gorgeous, confounding comic that redefines how an art book can tell a story and how a graphic novel can be an object first and story second. His internal monologue leaks out like static from a radio and informs the external. He ties up loose ends. He's finishing long paused sentences. This is Mark Bell from a Drawn and Quarterly, Raw Sewage. Also from Fantagraphics, we get a new volume of the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers. This is volume 5 called High Times and Misdemeanors, collecting a bunch of material from the great Gilbert Shelton and Dave Sheridan. We got lots of stuff in here, painstakingly restored, featuring die-cut covers and the first North American bookshelf editions in more than 30 years. Also from Fantagraphics, we get a second issue of Hate Revisited, the new miniseries from Peter Bagge, going back to Seattle and the characters that made him famous. Shtick Figures hardcover. This is a new collection of art from Drew Friedman, published by Fantagraphics Books. Drew Friedman, of course, has graced the covers of both New Yorker and Mad Magazine and seemingly everything in between. For years, acclaimed artist Drew Friedman has chronicled an oddball alternate history of American pop culture where forgotten character actors, old Jewish comedians, comic book artists, and liver-spotted elevator operators are afforded the spotlight over Hollywood starlets and heartthrobs. And gracing this cover is the recently passed and much beloved Gilbert Gottfried. Look at that, from Drew Friedman, available on July 24th. This is Shtick Figures. Also from Fantagraphics, we get a new manga volume from Atsuhishi Kaneko, based on Dororo by Osamu Tezuka. This is called Search and Destroy. See, we had a bunch of manga. Let's see. Kaneko's own wide range of influences include Western cartoonists like Daniel Clowes and Charles Burns, as well as filmmakers like David Lynch. The result is not only one of the best sci-fi manga of recent years, but also one of the most visually rich and distinctive works of graphic storytelling in any genre or language. This is Search and Destroy, Volume 1 from Atsushi Kaneko and Fantagraphics Books. From Silver Sprocket, we get Bottoms Up. This is from Barbara Benis. Story that's one part recipe blog, one part comic book with a dash of sardonic humor, a dollop of existential dread, and a pinch of gig economy camaraderie. Available on July 30th from Silver Sprocket and Barbara Bennis. Bottoms Up. And finally, in our original graphic novels selection from Silver Sprockets, we get this Putty Pygmalion from Lonnie Garcia. Daryl, a lonely radish, attempts to create a boyfriend out of a defunct and now illegal children's product. His creation, Peter, springs to life ready to make a child happy, and instead finds a suffocating and cloistered existence catering to Daryl's needs. Oh, from Lonnie Garcia and Silver Sprocket, 72 pages for $15.99. This is Putty Pygmalion, featuring a foil accented and embossed cover. Available on July 23rd. And that wraps up our focus on original graphic novels. Let's move on over to the final order report on trade paperbacks. Hey, look, it's a new hardcover of Shaolin Cowboy. This is Volume 4, Cruel to Be Kin. But there's a trick here, folks. This is the silent but deadly edition. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, then more than 205 pages of the stupendous and Technicolor art of Dave Stewart and the dubious letterless box drawings of Jeff Darrow must be worth at least, well, you do the math, but that's what you are going to get when Dark Horse presents the king-size silent but deadly edition of the Shaolin Cowboy epic, Cruel to Be Kin. That's right, folks. No dialogue, no word balloons, no lettering. This is all art. Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to Be Kin, the silent but deadly edition. We get an all-star Batman hardcover collecting the entire run from Scott Snyder and others, including Declan Shalvey and Jock and plenty of folks. And John Romita Jr. It's all there. All-Star Batman by Scott Snyder, the deluxe edition. Also from DC Comics, we get a new printing of Death at Death's Door from Jill Thompson. This manga was produced back in the aughts, or maybe in the 90s even, from Jill Thompson, spinning out of and inspired by the Sandman creations of Neil Gaiman. Printed in black and white with gray tones, this manga-style story is replete with family drama, strong interpersonal relationships, dramatic pacing, symbolism, and a cast of alluring characters with a flair for fashion. This is Death at Death's Door, graphic novel, new printing. And then we get a collection of Volume 1 of Power Girl from the current series by Leah Williams and Eduardo Pansica. Oh, also we get a complete series collection of Wildcats by Matthew Rosenberg, featuring art in this cover by Steven Segovia. That will be available on August 27th. So this is an advance order. 320 pages for $29.99. Over at Image, we get a Volume 3 from Ed Brubaker and Marcos Martins. Friday. Christmas time is here again. I think this is the stunning final chapter of this post-YA masterpiece. At Oni Press, we get a collection of the Matt Lesniewski miniseries entitled Faceless and the Family. This is a hardcover, 144 pages for $29.99, and collects the, 4-issue miniseries that came out earlier this year. Very beautiful art from Matt Lesniewski. Beyond Real, collecting that miniseries from Zach Kaplan, Fabiano Mascolo, featuring this cover by John Pearson and published by Vault Comics. We got a couple volumes from Marvel Comics to close out our trade paperback focus. This is a collection of Avengers Twilight, Volume 1 from Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna, featuring a cover by Alex Ross. This collects the entire 6-issue miniseries by the above team. though it's called Volume 1, it took them like 10 years to eventually publish this one, so we'll see. It was wildly popular and a very good read. Check it out, available on August 28th from Marvel Comics. We get The Fall and Rise of the House of X. This collects the final 2 miniseries, as well as the final issue of the X-Men 2021 run that capped off the entire era of Krakoa, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Lucas Verneck, and is covered by Mark Brooks. New Epic Collection, Volume 4 of Submariner, featuring some classic material from Sal Buscema and Roy Thomas. A collection of the recent Spider-Gwen miniseries, Smash, from Melissa Flores and Enid Ballum. And a Vengeance of the Moon Knight graphic novel, Volume 1, collecting that first arc of the next series from Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio. That does it for our spotlight on the trade paperbacks. There it is. Words. Next up, final report, order report on new printings. First up in new printings is the Tales of the Teen Titans number 44. This is a facsimile edition reprinting the first appearance of Deathstroke. I'm sorry, reprinting the previously untold origin of Deathstroke the Terminator, as well as the new costume and identity for Dick Grayson, now known as Nightwing. This was written by Marv Wolfman and features art by George Perez and Dick Giordano. This also features a foil variant for $5.99. Cobra Commander gets a 4th printing of number 1 with this new cover by Ludo Lullaby. Duke, number 3, over at Image Comics, we get a bunch of new printings, especially for the Energon universe. Here we got Duke, number 3, 3rd printing with a new cover by Victor Bogdanovic. A new printing of Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, number 1, that new series from Jerry Duggan and Gary Brown. Transformers, number 1, gets a 7th printing with a connecting cover by Filia Bratukin, and that is a connector to the 9th printing of Void Rivals, number 1, also featuring art of Filia Bratukin. Both of these variants will ship on July 10th. Over at Oni Press, we get a new printing of Cult of the Lamb number 1 that just recently debuted from Oni Press, written by Alec Packnadell and featuring art by Troy Little. A new cover by Alessio Bellardini, right. Cult of the Lamb number 1, 2nd print. And now over to Marvel and a few new printings over there. We get a 3D edition of New Mutants number 98, featuring the very first appearance of Deadpool, along with Gideon and Domino, of course, with the art of Rob Liefeld in 3D. Oh my gosh, every full page has been meticulously converted to classic red and blue 3D by Anomaly Productions. Ooh, that's kind of twisting my brain right there. That looks cool. New Mutants number 98 is $9.99 with a page count of 32 pages. Will be available on July 17th. Get a new facsimile of Amazing Spider-Man 258, featuring that first big storyline in the Amazing Spider-Man with the black costume. A second printing of Blood Hunt number 2. This is the regular edition, not the bagged edition. Helverine number 1 finally gets a second printing announcement with this new cover by Martin Kokolo. We get a couple new printings from Ultimate Spider-Man. This is number 4, second printing with a Marco Cicchetto character design cover. And a second printing of number 5 with a Marco Cicchetto character design cover. And that wraps up our focus on new printings. Let's take a look at second issues. First up in second issues this week is Profane number 2. This new series just debuted from Boom Studios. Peter Milligan writing and featuring art by Raul Fernandez. Javier Rodriguez does the cover on this second issue of Profane number 2. Hits the X on July 10th. Into the Unbeing number 2 from Zach Thompson and Hayden Sherman. Ships out on July 17th. That first issue just came out. Super bizarre. Great art by Hayden Sherman. This was my pick of the week last week. Batman Gotham by Gaslight number 1. We get a second issue arriving on July 10th from DC Comics. Andy Diggle, Leandro Fernandez cover. Another outstanding series that debuted this week, Godzilla Skate or Die, gets a second issue on July 24th. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell just announced that second printing for number 1. We get this second issue probably on the same day. Plastic Death and Dolls number 2, available on July 17th. And Precious Metal number 2 from Image Comics, Darcy Van Polgeest and Ian Bertram on art and cover. This is a prequel to Little Bird from the team of the same name. Outstanding book, beautiful art, lots of weird red tubes all over the place. Over at Mad Cave Studios, we get a second issue of Mammoth from Paul Tobin and Arjuna Sassini. A second issue of Mugshots from Jordan Thomas and Chris Matthews. And over at Oni, we get a second issue of Cult of the Lamb and a second issue of Scarlet Witch from Steve Orlando and Jacopo Camani. Sure. That wraps up our spotlight on second issues. Now let's move on over to our big spotlight on first issues. We got a heck of a lot to show you today. Let's get right to it. The first thing today is Eternal Warriors number 1. This is Last Ride of the Immortals from Fred Van Lent and artist Alvaro Papagianni and cover artist Fernando Baldo. Get a B cover from Augustin Alessio. This is a Road to Resurgence of the Valiant Universe title from Alien Books and the Valiant imprint, Eternal Warriors, Last Ride of the Immortals. How to Steal an Election from Matteo Pizzolo and artist Elisa Pochetta. Roxanne Bronner is a newly elected congresswoman taking a long shot swing in the presidential primary. But her campaign is derailed by a doxing of her secret past as teenage cam girl Fast Roxy, abandoned by her campaign team and kicked out of the Democratic Party or primary. Roxanne seeks help from a chaotic, anarchic old frenemy from her camming days, hustler extraordinaire BB Grabe, who guides Roxanne to launch a raucous New Hold Bars third-party campaign. From Black Mask Comics, Matteo Pizzolo, Elisa Pochetta, this is How to Steal an Election. Also featuring a B-cover homage variant, both from Elisa Pochetta. Over at Boom Studios, we get a debut of a new series from writer R.L. Stine. This is Graveyard Club #1. Gravesend is as sleepy as a town as they come, especially being surrounded by cemeteries, and the local kids could think of nowhere else they'd rather wreak harmless havoc, but being surrounded by graveyards comes with a pervasive reminder that there are more dead than there are living. This town is a endlessly eerie place. Oops, pardon me. Oh my gosh. This town is an endlessly eerie place with no shortage of strange and dangerous happenings. And when high schooler Parker West pulls what seems like a harmless prank, he must be putting his friends in more danger than he can imagine. From legendary author R.L. Stine and rising artist Carola Borelli, they launch a coming-of-age horror series, A Breakfast Club in the Graveyard, filled with frights, both nostalgic and new, for fans of Lock and Key and chilling adventures of Sabrina. This is Graveyard Club #1 with a Miguel Mercado cover on A. And this Dan Mora cover? That's Dan Mora? All right. Maybe it's Dan Mora. They're tight. That's cool. This is Graveyard Club #1, available on September 18th. If you want any of these variant covers, get your orders in by this Sunday at 5 p.m. Over at DC Comics, we get this new spin-off of Absolute Power. This is Task Force 7? No, this is Task Force 12, wouldn't it be? Sure. Task Force 12. No, this is 7, right? Yeah, I know Roman numerals. But before I go any further, putting my lack of education on display, let's put this big trailer on display for the main Absolute Power series. There it is, folks, the trailer for the Absolute Power miniseries from Mark Waid and Dan Mora. This miniseries spins out of it Absolute Power Task Force 7. This #1 will be available on July 10th from creator-writer Leah Williams and artist Caitlin Yarsky, who does interiors, and this cover by Pete Woods. Super No More. With the assault on Metropolis's heroes complete, Amanda Waller's latest living weapon, the Last Son, sets his sights on the other most powerful supers in the DCU, the Marvel family. Will their combined powers be enough to survive this terrifying threat? In this bi-weekly series, we'll see the Absolute Power event through the eyes of evil, as told from the point of view of the Trinity of Evil. This is Absolute Power Task Force 7 from Leah Williams and Caitlin Yarsky, with an A cover by Pete Woods, a B from Dave Raposa, pardon me, that's pretty brutal. Brad Walker cover. Stephen Platt, really? That's cool. Stephen Platt. And John Timms on this connecting cardstock variant of Absolute Power Task Force 7 #1. Oh, we also get a foil variant by Dan Mora. Got any more? No, I think that's it. Sure, we'll do it this way. We get a new storyline over in the Action Comics series. This is from Rainbow Rowell and Gail Simone. Gail Simone writing the lead story with interior art by Eddie Barrows. Rainbow Rowell writing the backup story with art by Sean Tormey. Superman and the Challenge from the Stars. Superman fights for two worlds when a massively powerful alien race makes Earth their arena. Superman must stand alone against impossible challenges that threaten locations all around the world and the lives of those he loves. A not-to-be-missed epic tale of Superman's strength, wit, and resourcefulness in an early stage of his public career. New York Times bestselling author Rainbow Rowell makes her DC debut and takes on the most powerful woman in the backup story in Superman's life, Lois Lane. Yeah. Got this A cover from Eddie Barrows, a B from Wes Craig. Ooh, I like that. Got that kind of old-timey feel to it. Got a Bruce Timm feel to it. C cover from Pablo Villalobos. And a foil cover of the A variant. This is Action Comics 1067, a brand new storyline for Superman family. Here's a pretty cool project. This is from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #1. All right, so this is something that they just revisited. Recently, it had had a big anniversary of the time when they left it up to a popular vote to see if Robin would survive or die from a brutal attack by the Joker. Well, turns out they wrote both endings, recently published the second ending in a one-shot, and now they are continuing to produce. Let's see, as they say, in 1988, DC fans made a seminal choice in the history of DC publishing, voting to kill off Jason Todd's Robin in the Death in the Family storyline. Now, for the first time, we want to find out what would have happened if fans had voted to let him live. And it begins with the murder of the Joker. Oh, poor Joker. He just got murked by Robin. You shouldn't have done that, Joker. This is from writer J.M. DeMatteis and artist Rick Leonardi. Rick Leonardi's back. Look at that. He's doing all kinds of stuff lately. As well as this cover. This is very cool. From the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives #1. Also featuring a Mike Mignola cover of Death in the Family, Robin Lives. Look, he barely lived. You can see he's got that cool crown. Oh, that's a cool looking pendant from the Joker. Mignola's artwork is so good. I love it. Love you. Next up, from DC Comics, Green Lantern 13 starts a new storyline from Jeremy Adams, Matthew Clark. Primer gets a new 3-issue miniseries from Undetermined Team. Kind of surprised at that, but yeah. Over at Image Comics, we get an interesting, very unique spin-off of the Public Domain series from Chip Zdarsky. This is a miniseries premiere when three best friends discover a crashed UFO. They also discover technology that gives them incredible abilities. But there's a catch. Only one of them can use the powers at a time. Can their friendship survive the powers' temptation? In the pages of Image's Eisner-winning series, Public Domain, Sid Dallas and the team at Dallas Comics reimagine their classic character, the Domain, for a new audience. And this is that comic. This special series written by Chip Zdarsky with amazing art by Rachel Stott and Aaron Angelini is a classic superhero story for those coming in fresh, and a fun meta story for readers of public domain. Domain number 1, available on July 10th, with this cover by Rachel Stott and a B cover by Aaron Angelini. Over at Mad Cave, we get a new series from writer Elliot Spurl and Amit Tischler, with art by Rue Silvieri. Last Wardens. With an alcoholic father and a hole in her wallet, Danielle Pryor's life in the rustic town of Bleakwood comes from bad to worse when her long-lost brother Bruce returns from the Vietnam War. While Bruce is being plagued by a mysterious and monstrous mutation, he is also being hunted by an incompetent team of paranormal misfits, which leads to Bleakwood quickly becoming ground zero of a supernatural battle that forces Danielle to choose between everything she holds dear and the fate of the world as a whole. This is Last Wardens number 1 from Elliot Spurl, with this B cover by Skylar Partridge and this A cover from Zach Howard, available on July 17th. Here's an interesting one over at Sumerian Comics Massive imprint. This is a new series from, where should I start? The world's most famous luchadors battle in the ring by day and serve humanity as monster hunters and world protectors by night. In this series, Mass Republic Comics and Massive Publishing bring back the glory and tradition of the real-life lucha stars in comic books. Ooh, lots of cool covers. This is written by Mario Lopez with interior art by Ben Harvey. Really? Wow. He's only been doing covers. He did this cover for A. Got a B cover from Leo Colapietro. Ben Harvey on C, and a classic Superman versus Muhammad Ali homage cover by Andrew Bellinger. I bet you he knows. Oh, is that Ed Pisker? Huh. Good times, folks. Luchaverse Catalyst number 1 from Sumerian Comics Massive imprint. There it is. Oni Comics is celebrating Rick and Morty's 10th anniversary with this special. Written by Alex Furr with art by Fred C. Stressing, and this cover by Mark Ellerby and B cover by James Lloyd. A C cover from Susie Blake. And there it is. Over at Udon Entertainment, we have a new miniseries featuring the characters from the classic video game Final Fight. The Mad Gear Gang has infested Metro City for years, but after they kidnap the mayor's daughter, 3 heroes arise to clean up the streets once and for all. Cody Travers, bad boy street brawler. Guy Bushinru, ninja master. And Mike Hagar, pro wrestler turned mayor of Metro City. They bring a pocket full of quarters and prepare for non-stop fist-flinging action in this mini-series based on the king of Capcom beat-em-ups, Final Fight number 1, written by Matt Moylan with art by Matthew Weldon, who did this A cover. Long Vo did a B cover. A C from Hanzo Steinbach, all covering up the Final Fight number 1 from Udon Entertainment. And let's see, we're entering into the final stretch of the final order report with Marvel's new series debuts in this final order cycle. Daredevil Woman Without Fear number 1, spinning out of Daredevil 11. After the stunning events of Daredevil 11, Daredevil's allies are left more vulnerable than ever before. If they're able to survive, it will fall to Elektra and Matt Murdock to not only save their city as Daredevil, but also protect the people they love the most, as they're targeted by some of the most dangerous violent elements the Marvel Universe has to offer, from writer Erica Schultz and Michael Dowling on art, with this cover by Mahmoud Asrar and a B cover by Joshua Swaby. Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, available on July 17th. Part 3 of the Infinity Watch annual crossover storyline. Faced with the menace of Utgard and a prophecy of his own doom, the son of Odin sought out the legendary Power Stone to aid his fight. Only two things were in his way. Firstly, the mighty champion of the universe, with strength to match Thor's own, was also questing for the stone. Secondly, the stone is now inside a person. The Prince of Power. Plus, Derek Landy and Sarah Pacelli continue the journey of the Deathstone Bearer and the scar it will leave on the universe. This main story, written by Al Ewing with art by David Baldian, Immortal Thor Annual #1, with this Salvador LaRocca cover on A and a Walt Simonson cover on B. Just a heads up, this does not tie into the main series. I will not be pulling it for subscribers. If you're interested in either one of these covers, make sure you get your order in by this Sunday at 5. Oh, then we got a new Namor series, The Last King of Atlantis. I'm a little excited about this because it's written by Jason Aaron with art by Paul Davidson. The Last King of Atlantis. War rages beneath the waves, from the lost cities of the secret seas to the fathomless depths where the elder whales reign. 7 kings, old and new, fight to rule the watery realm. But where's Namor, the once mighty submariner? He's sitting behind bars on the surface, with no intention of ever setting foot in the seas again. So begins an oversized Atlantean event that will forever reshape the landscape of the undersea world, while at last laying bare the dark history of Atlantis and its fiercest, most infamous defender. An epic that will redefine the King of the Seas in the matter of Jason Aaron's Punisher series. Namor, #1, available on July 17th, with this A cover by Alexander Lozano, Alex Maleev on B. Oh, a Joshua Cassara Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe variant. There it is. This is Namor #1. Spinning out of From the Ashes, a new beginning, a new path forged. The X-Force #1. The world is fractured. Forge uses his powers of invention to devise the only fix, an all-new, all-different X-Force. Forge leads a custom-made, hand-picked team of mutants. Rachel Summers, Betsy Braddock, Sage, Surge, and introducing Tank. In off-the-books missions so dire, so integral to the fate of the Marvel Universe, there's no time to stop for permission. From writer Jeffrey Thorne and artist Marcus Toe, we get X-Force #1 hitting the shelves on July 31st with this A cover by Steven Segovia, a Chris Allen Stormbreaker cover, riffing off the old John Byrne cover, X-Men cover, yeah, and a Clayton Crane Forge cover, and a David Nakayama foil variant featuring none other than Deadpool. This is X-Force #1, also featuring a logo variant, a Scotty Young variant, and a Tony Daniel variant. It's all there, X-Force #1. Oh, by the way, pricing on this is not what you see on the screen there. It is going to be $9.99 because Marvel. Let's move on. And closing up today's show is this one-shot featuring crossover with Blood Hunt. This is X-Men Blood Hunt, Laura Kinney, the Wolverine #1, from writer Stephanie Phillips and artist Robert Gill, with a Bjorn Barron's cover, The Bloodiest Rescue Mission Yet. The vampires will stop at nothing in their bid for supremacy, including capturing mutants for hellacious experiments to boost their own power. But not on Laura Kinney's watch. The Wolverine slices a swath through the vamps, but when she encounters the truth behind their machinations, will an unlikely ally prove to be more than she bargained for? Ooh, very nice art. Bjorn Barons can do vampires also. They're very zombie-like vampires. X-Men Blood Hunt, Laura Kinney, the Wolverine #1 will be available on July 17th. With this B cover from Federico Vincentini and a beautiful Peach Momoko cover, this is our final spotlight on final order for first issues. Yeah, let's move right on over to... Wait, I got to do it here. There it is. It's the final order report for upcoming events. Yeah, do that. Do that. Cool. There it is. Let's get rid of that and go. Yeah. There it is, folks. Thanks for watching Final Order Report. We're doing this every weekend in advance of the final order cutoff period, currently set at Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. Get your orders in through Comichub, email, or any other way that you can get them before that deadline to make sure you get your copy. Other big news, we will be at the Ann Arbor Comic Arts Festival all this weekend, happening at the Ann Arbor District Library, 343 South 5th Avenue. It's a completely free event aimed at all ages. There's something here for everybody, including our headliner guests, Vera Brosgol, Nathan Hale, James Kochalka, and Jen Wang, along with dozens and dozens of other family-friendly comic creators, and lots of workshops, presentations, activities, and fun for kids, teens, and families. This is A2CAF, the Ann Arbor Comic Arts Festival, brought to you by the Ann Arbor District Library and Kids Read Comics. Just a note, because of the schedule this weekend, we will be closed at Green Brain on Saturday. All day Saturday, Green Brain Comics will be closed. Come on out to Ann Arbor, to the main branch, Ann Arbor District Library, and enjoy some comics with us. You'll be glad you did. We'll be open regular hours the rest of the week. Also, coming up this Monday is the 57th installment of Brain Candy. Monday, June 17th at 7 p.m., a free review of music, prose, poetry, and visual art. We've even got a trailer for it. Let's check this out. That's right. Brain Candy number 57 is a free review of music, prose, poetry, and visual art, brought to you by the performers, the Emerging Writers Network, and Green Brain Comics. Then Tuesday evening, join us back here on YouTube and Facebook for Brain Scan, our live preview of New Comic Book Day. On the eve of New Comic Book Day, that happens Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. right here on YouTube and Facebook. And I'll be back again next weekend for more Final Order Report. I hope you can join us. I hope you have derived some form of inspiration and entertainment from this report. I do truly respect your time and hope that you have an opportunity to enjoy the rest of the weekend. If you do have some time, come on out to Ann Arbor. Saturday and Sunday, free event at the Ann Arbor Public Library. All right. Let's see. Remember, the deadline for final orders is Sunday, June 16th at 5 p.m. Let's throw that back up there. That's all on Comichub. Boy, I got a big head. Please remember to confirm the items in your cart. And thanks for joining me here on the Final Order Report. Stay up to date on all of our happenings. We are Green Brain Comics on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. All the links to our shopping cart website and Comichub are below in the description. We are spreading the love of comic books and graphic novels from the heart of East Downtown Dearborn since 1985. Feed your brain at Green Brain Comics. Thanks for watching, folks. See you in Ann Arbor. A2CAF. I can't possibly sign off like that. Feed your brain at Green Brain Comics. Emanating from deep under the earth. Spreading across the globe at the speed of thought. Changing the world one brain at a time. This is the Final Order Report from Green Brain Comics.